United were being sold for as long as I've tried to lose weight, and I think I'm winning that fight, and that's a very tough thing to say when you think about it. So the latest is the Sheikh has said tuache na hiki tu.
Yes, and it's a proper sense of you versus the period that Manchester United has been on sale, because you go back to November when we had that statement from Manchester United, apparently at the same time when Cristiano Ronaldo was leaving the club, and they talked about a strategic review of the club and how they were going to change even the ownership and several measures that you're going to take at Manchester United, and everyone thought that, this is the opening way for someone to come in. So from that period that Sheikh Jassim has been there, he's been trying to draw in bids. And when I knew that they were putting in some soft deadlines, Manchester United from February, and then you bring another deadline in March, I thought, okay, now they don't really look like a serious
seller.
Yeah, like a serious seller. And maybe one thing you could argue that the Glazers don't feel as if they have gotten much enough from the two, that Sheikh and Radcliffe. They wanted 8 billion.
No. I think they are being greedy. They're doing exactly what they always wanted. I don't think they ever thought, I don't think they ever wanted to sell the whole club holistically.
Yeah.
I think they always wanted to get someone to invest, and then they are left in share because they can still see where look, guys, United may be terrible on the pitch. Off the pitch, they are a juggernaut.
Yes.
They are a marketing juggernaut. They keep making money.
Yes.
They already have their next deal lined up, their next shirt deal.
Qualcomm,
They are always moving. So you can see the money. And I feel like they never ever wanted to sell it completely. I could almost go as far as saying they probably said that also to just quell down that whole Cristiano thing.
Oh yeah.
The coincidence was too much. At the same time. And then it's taken a year. This guy, how much did the Sheikh give? He offered what?
6.4. Actually, that was the latest.
Oh, the
6.4 billion.
And he offered to clear all the loans and everything.
Yes.
And then invest 1.5 billion in infrastructure and the community.
Yes.
Then they're like, no, let's go with Jimmy
for 25%.
25%, because his valuation of 25%, if you multiply it by 4, is bigger than what this guy is telling us for the 100%. That's the argument. It's as simple as that. So what does that mean? We want more money. But also we want to stay in control, because we think if he gets 25% now, he invests it, we move up a bit, this 75% grows. And from day one, there was this conversation that 2 of the Glazer siblings didn't want to sell, 1 wanted to sell. Actually, the one of them tried to buy the other 2. Something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there was something like that. Yes.
1 wanted to buy the other 2, the other 2 refused.
So I feel like it's definitely a win for the Glazers, because even they stay in Florida, so they are not hearing any noise that is coming around from Manchester
United. And they've never cared for the noise.
Yeah, they seem not to care about that. So as long as the bank account is looking good, and with they are going to release the new calculations for last year, and it said that they've made profits. They're going to around 630 million at that time. So as long as the bank account is good for them, then that's a plus for them. But for Manchester United fans, of course, it's going to be anger. And it looks like right now, maybe Radcliffe is going to get a say. In that 25% stake, I read somewhere that he's going to make some sporting decisions. I don't know how big an influence is going to be having such a small stake, and given that the Glazers still hold 96% of the say of Manchester United, if at all he can do anything. Maybe the argument, maybe we're hypothesizing. Maybe they don't want to be involved in this day-to-day running. Dealing with noise and protests and the green and yellow scarves every day. So you take 25%, you be in charge of the playing thing. You decide. All those decisions are you. You are English, you love this team, you stay there. You deal with John Mutag and Richard Arnold and Darren Fletcher and Eric Ten Hag and Mason Greenwood. You deal with those problems. Us guys, we will leave you with, you deal with that side, we will deal with the commercial side. You deal with those sides. Maybe that's the way it works. Maybe. So that's a very small hope on Manchester United, that even right now when you're talking about the Euros, moving to England, you still have Old Trafford not making into that list, and you know why, and you know how they've been operating. They've not been investing in the club, so that will still continue. On the other decisions, probably they could change, but only for the short term.
Chep?
Yes, I also agree with what you've said, Wokabi, because when they said they will put it out on sale, personally I thought it's just a new story too, because I think that's the time as well kulikuwa sort of a bit of protest. Fans had started protesting about it as well, so they just wanted to quell it down. So we are putting it on sale, but I think what they wanted is maybe give a percentage to somebody, but we still maintain control of the club. So it helps but quells that. But still, the Sheikh, the Qataris flow, that is a very good deal. Really, really good deal.
It's a very good deal. I just never thought, in my head, I never ever once thought the UK, with all the noise about sports washing and whatever, I never ever thought they would, that a deal to sell the biggest football sports brand in the UK, they will just let it go quietly. I never once sat and I thought they are going to do it. For me, I always wondered, would they really agree? Would they really agree for their biggest brand, sports brand, to go that way at a time when they are frowning on such things? I just never saw it, if I'm honest. I never ever saw it. As soon as you had Sir Jimmy Ratcliffe, it's called Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yes. As soon as I saw his name, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I always thought, he's a sir.
It's going that way.
Something is
Might go that way.
The company is English. He's English. This is England's biggest brand by a mile.
Yeah.
You seeing them leaning this side? I never ever saw it. I thought there would be a quiet encouragement. Let's go this side. Yeah, Sammy, you can say what you want to say. Don't frown.
No. You're talking about the entirety of the Premier League, so
not the Premier League, just the English and just, I don't know how to put it. Just, like, what's the vibe like? Like, this is not with all due respect to Man City, United is not City.
No, it's not.
With no respect to Newcastle, it's not United.
Yeah.
It's when you talk about aristocracy of English football, you don't have City and Newcastle.
Nope.
Yes.
Aristocracy of English football, you don't have those two. You have
Liverpool.
You are Liverpool, you are United, you are Arsenal, you are Liverpool, you are Everton, you are Spurs. Like the royalty, the proper royalty of English football.
Yeah.
So I always wondered whether they would encourage it, especially given all the noise that came with the Super League the other year, with Saudi Arabia taking over Newcastle, with all that's I have no fact about it. It was just a thought. I just thought, are they going to agree? Are they going to really let it happen? I was just never sure. Okay. I thought it made more sense for them, the prime English thing, to stay English.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So that was a division in-house.
And there is nowhere. You're looking for a fact.
No.
This is a feeling I'm talking about.
Mm.
It's a feeling, not a fact. There is no fact that Chep, it's the way you think. It's the way Chep's tribe on our social media hints at something, but there is no fact to it. But it hints and it leans towards something.
Yeah.
There is no fact to it. I can't sit there and say, but you can tell the conversation.
Okay.
So it's the same way. I just wondered whether they would have just agreed, said like, okay, you go. Because I don't think, and I know it's purely a lot about money, but I think at some point it's more than money.
Prestige.
Yeah.
And history, okay.
But I could be wrong.
But I also think, from my point of view, I think Man United will be better off with Sir Jim Ratcliffe getting 25%. Of course, with Sheikh Jassim.
Why?
Just from my point of view.
Yes.
Now, this is why I'm trying to look at it from. With this 25%, like you said, the Glazers have no intention whatsoever of trying to run the club on a daily basis. So why not give Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's English, who loves the club, to run it? Because he has a passion for the club. He really loves it. However,
yes,
we've seen he bought Nice. Nice, he hasn't set the world alight with the sale of Nice. So I actually think that because of his passion and his love, as well. He might be the right guy.
First of all, I don't buy this whole passion and love.
Me too, exactly.
Because you wanted to buy Chelsea. He's bought this.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure how he's this
passion. Ni biashara.
this love is very
money.
transient.
Exactly.
Of course, yeah.
It's very
They
mobile.
Alienda Chelsea akapata huko.
Every
They can't
billionaire,
say
of
the
course,
money.
ako kwa biashara.
It's very
Every business that he does,
It's
it's
not
about
passion.
money.
So we remove
But-
that
remove
love and
passion.
passion.
But I also think, of course, there is that love that he has for English football.
Here is the thing: there are people who love football. For example, Roman bought Chelsea simply because he watched a game and he thought, nice, Real Madrid United. If you've watched the Beckham documentary, the Netflix, the 4-3 crazy game, and he was like, this is nice. I'd like to be involved in something like this. And then he went on, and the rest is history. Going by what the group at the Abu Dhabi group has done at City, going by what the group at Newcastle is doing with Newcastle,
Yes.
what do you think this Sheikh would have done?
Extremely well.
I'm pushing back at your point that Jimmy is the better choice.
No, better
because
in
these guys, like the City guys, basically came in and said we want to run this in Khaldum and all of them, and they have put structures. City looks like worlds apart from the city I grew up watching. The city of Paul Dikov and Sean Gota. Okay, they've changed everything. Their women's team, everything about City. So imagine this if this guy was coming in with the same kind of thought.
Just improving the infrastructure.
Compared
something
with this 25%, but 75%, but now you handle the football, but let's...
They're better off than the Glazers just having 96%. So with these 25%, they should be happy. To be honest.
Count your blessings.
Yeah, count your blessings, to be honest. You're better off with this 25%. Of course, Sheikh Jassim would have turned around the ship completely.
Yes.
But now...
Because first things first, he was clearing your debt.
Yes,
100%.
clearing the debt, the
Investing
stadium
the community
renovation,
around.
of course, and
hata
all the
wangepata
cash
gym
injection.
mpya. Gym mpya.
Now, but like Wokabi said, this
Sparring
is
room, and
football,
sparring
English
room.
football royalty. I don't think it would have gone to Qatari state-owned. I don't think it would have become a Qatari state-owned club.
No, me, I think
Because
if
at the end of the day, there were
Yeah.
rumors it's going to be owned by Qatar.
I think if the Glazers wanted to sell it, they would have sold it, and they could have sold it to Jassim. Hizo obstacles uko mbele, wangepitia uko mbele. If the Premier League, like the Newcastle one, so I thought the Premier League got into it a bit. They wanted to block it. They needed to do, I don't know, fit exactly. Yes, that would have been a bridge they would have crossed after the deal was done. But if they really wanted to sell it, ile yenye tumefika hapa, the fans don't want us here. We give it to somebody else. 6.4 billion.
That's a lot.
That's a
two
lot.
times
I
than
just
their
want the
value,
point
their share value at the moment.
But there's a point that Wokabi made. That 25%, if when sold, will be more than the amount of money Sheikh was offering.
If you take
Yes,
that
if you take
25%
that
as a
25%.
fraction,
Yes.
Sammy is our mathematical expert in the show. If you take
If
that
you take
fraction
it as a
and then you make it whole, you remember
Yeah.
those fractions into whole. So if you go from 25%, which is a quarter, and then turn it into 4/4, it's more.
It's more money.
But Jimmy is starting with just 25%. Of course, they are saying in
Ideally,
the long term, there is a plan of him taking over in the long term.
Yes.
But these guys are thinking,
No.
badala utupatie 6.4 B sahi,
Tupe.
we tupatie hii kwanza, alafu tukuja it will not be the same cost to
It will
so
be
we will be
appreciating. Yeah.
And then Pia Jim is borrowing that money again.
Aina shida. So long as he is bored, that's fine.
yeah, but you see this
But
other,
you see,
but you see this other guy was getting it from his pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's up?
Debt free 100%.
Unangapi?
Huyu anatoa bank anaomba.
Nipatie.
And he's giving you guarantees he'll be investing in the
You see
community
now
around.
the complexity.
But at the end of the day, the Glazers would have gotten less amount of money that they wanted. So of course they wouldn't have.
But how much money is enough? Is money ever enough?
For a billionaire?
Even more, never enough.
Never.
They always want more and more
Nothing
and
is
more.
enough.
There's nothing like enough. Once you get satisfied, that's the end.
That's
of
the
it.
end of it.
Yeah, but for Manchester United fans, I think they should be happy at least
No.
25%.
It's better than 4%.
It's better than that.
They should start protesting next weekend.
No.
Protest
They
next
need to be
weekend.
happy that there is
Doesn't
progress
make
being
sense.
made.
However,
Doesn't.
if you think about it, at least United now have a clearer picture what's going to happen. They've been in limbo for more than a year. Oh, is it going to go? Is it not going to go? Now at least they are clear that this is the owner. This is what's going to happen. So if they confirm this thing that he's in charge of football now, Arnold and John and Darren Fletcher can start to answer to someone. Because the one thing I think the Glazers have done is invest in the team. They may not have invested in the infrastructure, but they have spent a lot of money on players. So maybe there you have to give them credit.
Yeah, not from their
quite
pockets,
a bit. It doesn't matter, but they could have refused to spend it. But they have spent quite a bit of money. So there you've got to give them marks.
And still loaded the club with debt.
No. They could have refused to give out. They could be like Everton, why they couldn't sign anyone. But they have continuously paid 65 million for paying 65 million for Mason Mount. They should be cut some slack.
Come on, man, no.
All
those years.
It's money.
That alone, I think they should be cut some slack.
Yeah, but then that's not it all.
And
100 for Anthony.
For those two, they should be cut some slack.
Nah, come on, man.
They're like, who do you want? You want
You can give them sampling, but not all of it.
Yeah, they have done. They've tried. It's just that they are an easy. You see, they're an easy person to blame. Like, but like
they are the persons.
I don't think the current problem at United is them. No, they didn't buy Anthony
at some point. At some point, if you're going to draw back, you'll go back to them.
No.
You'll go back to them
in the last 2-3 transfer windows, they have backed the manager. They have given the manager what he wanted. He wanted Mason Mount, they gave Mason Mount. He wanted Onana, they gave him Onana. He wanted Anthony, they gave him Anthony. He wanted the midget, they gave him the midget. He wanted the new Roberto Carlos, they gave him the new Roberto Carlos.
Yes.
He wanted Hoyland, they gave him Hoyland.
Amrabat.
They've given him everything.
And I agree. And at the same time, you're going to ask the question of, is the manager supposed to be the one who is making all these decisions? Is he going to be the one who is recruiting all this? I remember you asking, is he bringing all these guys from Ajax because they don't have a scouting team? They don't.
Yes. And when I said that, you told me, no, Masjab has been given everything. When I said
Man changes his mind. Man changes his mind.
But Sammy, we have to agree.
We have to agree that the backstop is the Glazers. And right now, the mode that Manchester United are in, jet mode. Just enjoy the suffering.
The bad things that the Glazers have done, they've overshadowed the good things that they have done. So,
anyway.